Hello everyone and welcome to iCast today. I am Amal Mzayan and I'm not going to be your co-host for this episode because in this episode we are sharing different stories from different backgrounds, and we're just sharing those stories because the people in it had to go through those difficult times, and they like to share it with us today, so they are so much appreciated. Thank you so much for doing that. And we're actually excited for this episode, just like getting your feedbacks and everything. And the aim of this episode is just letting you know that everyone goes through this, everyone had to go through a difficult time, and everyone has a background story that you don't know. Whether you're holding it in or whether you chose to share it, we're proud of you and we know that you are strong, and keep yourself because we need you. And I'm gonna begin with my story. I was at the time 12 years old in the 7th grade. So many things happened. Some of them I can't really share. Like, there's always a missing part in the story, but the main story that I want to share is feeling that I don't belong to anything in my life. I don't belong to me. I don't belong to my family. So basically, I hated everyone. I hated school. I hated my family. I hated the house. I hated myself. I hated the bus. I hated every part. I hated everyone. Literally, like, there is no one that I couldn't not hate at the time. So yeah, I felt really, and this is the worst feeling that you can ever feel. I felt like I don't belong to my culture and I don't want to be in it. I had low self-esteem, low self-confidence. I hated every day. And I just wanted to travel or to get out. I just wanted the planet to stop from rotating. I hated literally every day. I still can't believe that I got over that and I changed, and there's something in me now that I love where I am. I love everything, and I know deep down that Amal wasn't Amal. And now I learned to love myself and to love the people around me, and that if I prioritized myself and if I loved myself, I will be able to give love. So yeah, I gave myself love, and just suddenly everything seemed to be good and everything seemed to satisfy me. And now I'm convinced that my culture is okay and everything is good, and I'm really proud of who I am today, as you always should be. Let's listen to next stories, and we hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, I'm not gonna tell my story in a monotone voice, just so you guys don't get bored. So, I had this best friend, more like a brother. His name was Ghanem. He was so close to me. I can't even find a better word that could describe how close we were, how incredible the bond we had. Um, in May 2019, he started suffering from heart di- he started suffering from, I don't know, some kind of heart diseases. He started showing out symptoms, and a stubborn, arrogant teenage boy, he thought it's because of stress disorders and didn't tell his parents about them, didn't get checked in a hospital. And then he continued his life thinking that this will lead to the cause of his death, of his demise. A year later, he was playing football, and literally he fell. He just stood still, he halted, fell to the ground. We hurried to the hospital, and he was set for coma for a whole month and then died because of cardiomyopathy. I can't even describe how agonizing, how tormenting the news were when I heard that he died. I was devastated. He was 14. at the time. He was a kid, a child, a teenager. Life was still ahead of him. It was so hard. It was so hard to get over his death, to start moving on. I grieved a lot. I had a lot of shitty days, if I can say. I've gone through therapy. I couldn't handle life without him being by my side. He was the anchor of my life. He was the one holding my hand while my life was slipping apart. It's hard to lose someone so close. He left a hole in my heart, and no one can ever fill it. And it's still to this day hollow. I just want to say, tell your friend that you love them. Tell your family that you love them. You don't know what life might come up with, what plot twist you might face. Appreciate every day, cherish every moment with them. You don't know if this moment would be the last. I'm so sorry I talked a lot, but I really hope that you do remind your friends, your family, how much do you love them.
My high school years were kind of hectic. Basically, I met a boy in his senior year. He was charismatic, hot, and mysterious, the kind of guy any girl would want to get to know more about. So he texted me throughout the summer, and as I started seeing him more and more at school, I realized that I may have gotten attached way too quickly. So I would wait for him beside the stairs to see him, and all these tiny details that I really cared about just to see him, or like for him to look at me like I was asking for him basically. As we started talking more and more, I felt like he started to like me, and the feeling was mutual. But as time went by, he started becoming distant. So we only would talk about religion and politics, which just ended basically in arguments. And these topics I only agreed to talk about since he was into these subjects. And I, of course, wanted any reason to talk to him. Later on, he would start complimenting me, like, all these mixed signals that guys send. That's basically what I felt. So he started complimenting me, my body, the way I look. He was giving me basically the male validation that I never knew I wanted. So he told me I was pretty, I was hot, and little by little, he started asking for stuff that were inappropriate, and which of course I refused to send. And he would act all sad and disappointed and mad, which was basically just nonsense. The act grew bit by bit until he wanted to meet up with me, where basically I knew that something is wrong and this relationship slash I don't know what I'm supposed to call it should end.
Right. The thing that I've learned this year was that life is beautiful only when it's challenging. You see, everybody thinks that to have a good life, to have a happy life, you have to make it a stable one. So people sometimes tend to create a sort of routine, or they try to stay on the safe side. But actually I've learned that sometimes challenges can make you so happy and proud of yourself. Actually, during this year, I had lots of challenges. I had my baccalaureate. I had to choose which major I wanted to study and in which college I wanted to study. And I was also having lots of emotional and psychological problems. I was having stress, having anxiety. I was also having depression, and I was brokenhearted this year, and I was disappointed by quite lots of people this year, and it was it was extremely hard. And at first I was like, why is it so hard? Why can't I have a stable life? But then when I just pulled myself together, I just took the decision that that's it. It's okay. You don't have and everything under your control, and this is a fact. You can't control everything. You can't control every aspect of your life, and especially when it's about other people. Sometimes people inside of your family, or even people that you thought that were your friends, might disappoint you in so many ways. And I've learned to be selective, to know who truly deserves my friendship and who doesn't. And this was an extremely valuable lesson. And even though it was like a harsh experience for me, it was necessary, because sometimes life is harsh with you, but not because it wants to hurt you, but at the contrary, it wants you to open your eyes, to be more aware, to be more mature of what's happening around you, you see. And it taught me that actually, when I was able to get an excellent result at my baccalaureate, and when I realized that I was accepted in one of the best universities, and I am studying what I like, I was really thinking, man, sometimes also you over stress about something, and you always imagine the worst scenarios, but sometimes it doesn't need that much. I mean, it's not something that's worth it. So I've learned to be selective in who I love, in who I befriend with, and I've learned to always have hope, and to never overthink and imagine the worst scenario. It's perhaps preferable sometimes to play it by ear, to just play it by ear.
In 2018, I got transferred to the hospital and met a really kind woman. She had cancer. So we really got along and we started visiting each other and we talked on the phone. So in 2021, before Easter, in 1 week, I've heard the saddest news ever that she died. I couldn't believe what I just heard, and I love to share this story because October is Cancer Awareness Month, and the woman died because of cancer. And yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Fatima Youssef, your co-host for today's episode. So, in this episode, كل حدا participated shared their experience أو شيء difficult هن مرقوا فيه during the year، أو إنه شيء قبل هن مرقوا فيه حسوا إنه they are able to share it with us now to learn. وعن جد the purpose of this episode إنه to benefit from it، مش بس لنحكي our problems to get them off our chest، بس كمان to learn from them، يعني نحن ك listeners ك audience وهيك. ف today I'm going as well to share my experience with you، أو إنه شي difficult أنا مرقت فيه. أكتر شي حسيته كان difficult بالنسبة لإلي هو losing motivation بشي عن جد أنا كنت حابة كمل فيه لقدام. So in 10th grade, before COVID, I used to write poems, short stories بالعربي أو شي وهيك. ف بس COVID happened, I lost motivation إنه أكتب وكمل وهيك. يعني I wanted one day إنه كل هول الأشياء اللي أنا عم بكتبهم أجمعهم بكتاب و to make يعني myself proud. Okay. ف I lost motivation, I lost interest بكتير قصص، و I tried to لاقي شيء أنا interested فيه غير الرايتنج لحتى just هيك to get my motivation back, my energy back وهيك. I just couldn't find anything. It was really hard for me. I couldn't focus on the online classes ولا studying ولا شيء. I just wanted to lay in bed all the time و do absolutely nothing وخلص إنه I don't have motivation, I don't have a life وخلص هيك حسيت I'm so helpless و unproductive وكل شيء وهيك. it was really hard for me to feel this way. Until like تقريبا بعد a year I found something I'm interested in ومشي الحال وهيك. آخر شي بدي أقوله لإلكم thank you so much و special thanks for those who participated in this episode. I wanna say إنه every one of you is strong و brave enough to share their experience with us. و I hope إنه هيدي الابيسود توصل للرايت audience وعن جد هيك تتعلموا من الاكسبيرينس يلي حدا غيرنا مرق فيها وما نغلط مثل ما نحن عملنا أو غيرنا عملوا هيك. فإنه I'm really proud of you all و I hope إنه this episode benefits you و I think it did benefit me listening to كل ال experiences يلي كل حدا فيكم shared. آخر شي بدي أقولكم إنه بنحبكم كتير. We'll always be by your side و of course don't forget to follow us on Instagram و TikTok و to listen to our episodes على أنغامي, Apple Play و Spotify. We love you all. Thank you so much for listening.